All right. So, in case PBS, NPR, and BBC weren't enough, apparently Elon Musk and Twitter have designated pretty much all public broadcasters to be government funded media because, of course, he did. Anyway, so from the article, which is titled Public Media Body Demands Twitter Drop Government Funded Media Label from All Accounts. It may have ceded to the BBC, but Elon Musk's Twitter is back under pressure from the world's public service broadcasters. The Global Task Force for Public Media has called on the social media platform to correct the designation of 4 of its members on the site. The ABC in Australia, CBC/Radio Canada, Korean Broadcasting System, and Radio New Zealand are currently labeled as government-funded media on their official Twitter accounts. The same title was bestowed on the UK's PSB and the BBC. Labeling them as such misleads audiences about their operational and editorial independence from government, the Global Task Force said in a statement signed by its 8 members, which included the 4 networks impacted: the BBC, France Televisions, ZDF in Germany, and SVT in Sweden. The Global Task Force statement notes Twitter's own policy defines government-funded media as organizations that may vary degree. Oh my God, I cannot read. That may have varying degrees of government involvement over editorial content. This is not the case with the ABC, CBC/Radio Canada, KBS, or RNZ. This comes after Twitter this week upped its efforts in labeling public media bodies on its site. The Public Media Alliance has analyzed 50 public service media accounts and found it what it calls an inconsistent and incoherent patchwork of labels. For example, PBS and NPR are labeled as government-funded, though neither directly receives money from U.S. state, as are Italy's RAI, Spain's RTVE, and Australian Diversity Focus Network's SBS. Oh, I bet I know what all of them have in common. Earlier this month, a huge row broke out when the BBC, which is funded by license fee payers but is editorially independent, was labeled as affiliated with government. After several objections and a BBC reporter challenged Twitter CEO Musk about the label during an impromptu interview, it was changed to read publicly funded media. Which it is, so that's fine. The 4 networks said the most accurate and appropriate label Twitter has available is that same publicly funded media one. Each network has a slightly different funding mechanism, but broadly remain editorially separate from their government. The same essentially applied to the BBC. Oh, where it? The ABC receives funding from government after a charter negotiation. CBC has a mix of public funding and commercial ad revenues. KBS uses a mandatory license fees and tops up with ad revs, and RNZ gets government funding and employs ads. RNZ was due to merge with TVNZ to form a new public media group, Aotearoa, New Zealand. That's probably Maorin, and I probably totally butchered that. Sorry. New Zealand Public Media, but that was scrapped in February, less than 1 month before it was due to take place. The Global Task Force added Twitter's approach to labeling on the basis of funding misunderstands the fundamental concept of public service media. They are publicly funded organizations that are statutorily independent of government influence. This model has served audiences well in democratic countries for much of the last century. And of course, Deadline reached out to Twitter for a comment but received a standard poo emoji response, as has been the case for months now. because, it's not like Twitter's being run by children or anything. Anyway, so now NPR does get some, and PBS does get some funding from the government, but it's like 1% of their budget. So, yeah, if they completely lost that government funding, it would matter squat. So, to say that something is government funded, by their very definition, means that they are a state run media and that they are the mouthpieces of the government. That is not the case. And the fact that this isn't being labeled to, like Fox News when Trump was in office, because that's basically what they were, shows his bias. Because I'm pretty sure all these organizations have a liberal slant. And by that I mean they report reality as opposed to scaring people just for the purpose of scaring them, because God forbid someone that doesn't look, think, and act like you exists. So this doesn't surprise me one bit. I'm just waiting for when Twitter completely and utterly dies, because Elon Musk said he's looking for a new CEO. I don't think he's going to give up power that easily. He's probably going to go down with the ship, or at least when it becomes absolutely obvious that Twitter is dead, that he's probably going to jump ship then. But as it stands, this just is not a tenable situation. And let me look at the comments. And everybody's being complete idiots in the comments. Nobody is actually reading the fucking article and just saying, oh, well, why are you afraid of being called government-funded media? Because they're not government-funded media, you asswipes. So, yeah, and of course the person who's doing this is considered anonymous. So, that means that they know that they're being, frickin' trolls. But anyway, I was hoping that I might actually have gotten something intelligent from the comments. What was I thinking? So, obviously, Elon Musk has not learned his lesson, because he fired pretty much his entire staff. So, the people who are left at Twitter are either overworked, or Elon just tells them what to do, or both. Because, yeah, if it was the old Twitter as bad as it was, this would not have happened, because, they could follow their own rules. Shocking. So anyway, with that, I will see you guys in the next video.